Okay, so now that we have our foundation model set, now would be a good idea to start to work on our walls. So if we look back at our schematic sketch, this was an idea of what we wanted to do with the walls, right? Now we only have one elevation because we're still kind of in design mode, but we're gonna work out the rest of the elevation, but using this as a kind of jumping off point, right? So let's go back to the 3D view here. So what we're going to do is to try and finish this design, but base it off of our schematic sketch. So I'm going to dock the schematic sketch right beside it, so we can have this here and then have our foundation here. So the general idea is we did have a ramp going like about that, or maybe we'll have some steps because this is kind of steep. So that represents this area. So this area here represents that area there. Now we did have, for this area, we did have some steps that leads down, right? And I'm just kind of sketching in our steps so that we can gain an understanding. So these are the steps that's going down, and this area here is this area here. So that is the steps going down. So from what we can tell, we do come around up here, and this actually comes like about here. So the entrance, actually the entrance to our building is round about here, and we enter the building about here, and we did have a little storage area that's here, which forms a part of the building, because that storage area you access from here. So from your inside the building. So you walk inside the building from here actually, and then you have these steps that come down here. So these are the steps. And as I said, this is just like a quick sketch so that we can kind of orient ourselves to what the design is doing, now that we kind of have some parts of it in 3D. So those steps that you see there are these steps here. All right, so those are the steps there. All right, now we do have a wall that's going to be here. And actually, so let's make our walls in a different color. Let's make it orange. Yeah. So we are going to have our wall going something like that, coming straight across. Actually, it's coming all the way to the end here. Yeah. Yes, it's coming. So this is the base of the wall here. It goes like that. There we go. Right. So we kind of have this step up of the wall, and this is where we will have our windows. So I think we got 2 windows here. All right. So then we didn't decide what we were going to do with this wall. So that is to be determined. And then this wraps all the way back around like that. So that is pretty much where we will have our walls, right? And I do believe we were talking about having like some large windows here, right? So we will probably add some windows in here. Now we did have an interesting element, this storage area here. So the wall actually does something like this. And then what happens is that this forms an overhang for this area here, right? And then we have the upper floor that basically starts here, right? But we're not going to draw the upper floor just yet, because we're just working out this floor. So we just needed to have an idea of how we're going to position our walls. And then we need to determine, like, what do we want to do with this wall here? Now, additionally, we did have a door that's going to be somewhere about here, right? And we can actually see that door is it's represented here. So it's going to actually be about right here, and that door is going to be here, right? This is getting a little confusing, so let us remove some of these other sketches, right? So this door is going to be here and it's going to be represented there, right? Then we would probably add a window, and if we want to get fancy, we could make this a corner window that actually wraps around like that, right? We could do a little corner window here, right? Yeah, and then in this area we're gonna have like a seating area maybe, right? All right, so this will be our game plan that we want to achieve next. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a screenshot because I want to remember this. Let me delete this, right? And then I'm going to take a screenshot of this, because this is a part of the design process. And that screenshot, we are going to paste it on our design board that we have been using. So let's just stick it right here so we can be reminded of our plan. All right. Okay, so with that said, let's build out these walls, and we're going to build it according to the sketch that we did. So we can have this here while we build out our plan here. Now, in order to build this out, we're going to be building timber stud walls here. And we do have some notes actually about how stud walls are built. So the general idea is that we need to have a base, a sole plate, which is down here. And then we need to have a wall plate, which is at the top of the wall. And then we have these studs that's going to be between. That's the general idea. And the studs form the windows and the door openings. The studs are normally mounted in some way, maybe by an angle bracket. There are other methods. And then on the outside, we put cladding on each side. Now, this is going to be, we're going to imagine that this is in a tropical environment, so we won't be needing to put insulation and additional layers on this wall, right? So we're just going to be mounting our cladding directly on the frame. And this is an idea of what the frame looks like. So this is our plan for the walls that we are hoping to construct here. Now, before we get going, let us at least have an indication as to where our walls are going to be, right? So to do that, I'm going to turn on the line thickness so that I can see the different thicknesses in the lines. That's up here. And I'm going to go to the architecture tab. I'm going to go to model line, and model line will give us the ability to draw some lines in a 3D space, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to pick from some of these lines here, and we're going to kind of use this as a kind of guideline for when we want to outline stuff. For in this case, we want to outline where the walls are going to be. So we want to use those lines. Now, before we draw the line to kind of outline where the walls are going to be, we only have a certain amount of lines here. So we have, for example, a hidden line. That is what it looks like. You can kind of see it there. Let's undo that. Let's look back on another line. We do have a center line. That is what the center line looks like. So we have different built-in, different line styles that's built in, but we want to create our own line style, which is we're going to use as a construction line for just telling us where the walls would be. So to do that, we're going to go over to the Manage tab, and then we're going to go over to this, and then we're going to go over to the additional settings, and then we see line styles. So right now, if I expand this, these are the types of line styles that exist, right? And essentially what we're going to do is we're just going to create a new line style. We're just going to call this concept lines, because we're just going to use it to kind of outline our concept before we actually draw the walls, right? It's a category of lines. And here we go. We have concept lines. That's right here. We are going to let it be orange, and we are going to make it be a dash line. Let's use a typical dash line. Let's try the 1.5 millimeter dash line. All right. And this, let's make the line thickness pretty thick. So we're going to put it at probably 8, and then we choose OK. Okay. Now, if we go back to model line, we see that we have our concept lines here. And if we click on draw, you can see we have it there. Now we do need to show line thickness on, well, this is, I think, way too thick. So let's go ahead and edit that. Probably put it at about 4. So go back to manage and go to additional options, line weight, and we will set our concept lines thickness to probably about 4 or 3. Yes, that's good enough. All right, let's delete that. Now, the additional thing now, before we can draw our concept lines in, if you notice, whenever we go to model line and we start to draw a line like this, you notice that it's actually behind the floor. And that's because if I click on this line, you will see that lines actually have a work plane or a level. So right now we are on level 1 lower, which is the level down here. So let's delete that. Before we draw the line, we need to go to set our work plane. So if we click this icon here, we see our current work plane is here and it's at level 1 lower. We need to set that to level 1 upper. There we go. All right, so now we can go ahead and draw our lines. So based on what we have here, this is pretty much going to be where our walls will be. And then we have this element that's coming out like that. It's probably going to be in the center of this wall here. So I'm going to put a mark here, and then I'm going to use the trim tool to trim up this wall here. All right. Then, so that's this little area here that I'm doing. Let's join this back here. Let's see how big this is. This is about 2 feet. So let's make it, I think 2 is enough. Yeah, let's make it 650 millimeters. Yeah, there we go. So that's going to be, that's this area right here. I'm not sure, this space looks a little small. If I click this line here and I move this dimension to here, I have about 3 feet, a little more than 3 feet to go between here. So maybe that's too small. Let's make it 4 feet. There we go. I think that's a little better. All right. And then we want to have a wall that comes down here. And then that wall will travel all the way down here. All right. So this is just giving us a visual outline. There we go. A visual outline of where we plan to put our walls. Okay, so if we continue here, we are going to use the curtain wall tool to create the walls for this project, right? So we're going to use the curtain wall tool in a way that we can represent these stud walls, and we're going to try to manipulate some of those options so we can represent doors and windows and all of that stuff. So the first thing we need to do is to draw a wall here. So we're going to go to wall, and we're going to actually work with the storefront curtain wall tool because it already has everything already built for us. We just need to modify it slightly. And we are going to go right on the center line here. Now, before we start drawing, let us look what level we're on. So we need to be on the level 1 upper. That's on this level here. And the top of our curtain wall needs to go to level 2. All right. So with that said, let's create this wall. We're going to create it to right here. All right, there we go. So we have our first wall that we're creating here. Now, this isn't exactly a stud wall because it has windows and frames, because this is a storefront curtain wall. If we take a look on the shaded mode, you can see where it actually has the mullions and an area for the glass. So if I tab through this, there is the actual glass that's represented there. Let's look at it in high detail. Right. So we want to change this to represent more of a stud wall. So in order to do that, we're going to actually go into this curtain wall tool here, and we're going to duplicate this and call it stud wall. Choose OK. Now for our curtain panels, we don't want any panels inside because it's just going to be empty. So we're going to choose system panel empty. Then if you look at how the curtain wall is constructed here, we want the top rail to take precedence and then the middle studs mount into the top stud. So we want to choose this option to let border and horizontal grids be continuous, and let's choose OK. All right, so this is what we have so far. I think that's okay. Maybe this wouldn't necessarily be here. Maybe it would be further in the center, this middle brace piece, and maybe there will be more than one. So let's go back into edit type, and we're going to adjust the horizontal spacing. So horizontal spacing. So the spacing is 2400 millimeters. So we're going to change that to 900 millimeters. Let's choose apply. There we go. And it may or may not have horizontal members here. It's going to be just representational, so we'll use that for now. All right, so let's go now and create another wall, and we're going to use the stud wall, curtain wall option. But this time we're going to choose our drawing plane to be the level 1 lower. So it's going to be down here. We're going to draw it out to this point here. Actually, we need to align those. So if we take a look here, I believe, yes, so we need to align them. So we're going to use the align tool, and we're going to click, there we go, and align, there we go. All right. So it's just telling us that they're intersecting. All right, so we're going to put the other walls in. Actually, we do have a wall going around here. So let's go to our curtain wall tool, and we want to go to the level 1 upper, and we're going to choose the, let's see. Right, so the location, so when we go to create this wall, the location is of the drawing the wall is in the center. So we're gonna go here, 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 and here for now. All right, so we're gonna actually shorten this wall here, and we also need to pay attention to how the wall is built. So for example, we're gonna have this wall attached like that. Then for this wall, we're gonna have this attached here. And then this looks a little funny here because this is not how it would be built in reality. So we might have this up there and align this to here. There we go. Then align that there. All right. So we're building out the frame of our ground floor here. Right. So let's see if we can. Yes, we're gonna offset up. Okay. And this top here. There we go. All right. All right. So we're building out this framework here. Then we're gonna come all the way across to here. We're gonna put in all the windows and doors afterwards. We're gonna just copy this across. We're gonna choose copy. There we go. All right. And we might come back to some of these options a little later. Let's just finish the model. We can just copy this here and rotate it and then align it. Okay. Now we want to put in our doors. So we're gonna actually try to get those in the frame before we start to get the wall coverings on, right? So let's also take a look on our drawing. Let's go back to the schematic sketch. Let's put it over here. All right, so we did say we want to go around, we want to come in, then we wanted to have the door here. So we're going to put the door this side here. Actually, let's align this wall to the center of this wall to the grid. Yeah, we want to stay on the grid. Now let's fix this wall here. Okay, let's use the align. There we go. All right. Now, according to what we have here, we are going to have some steps that come down here. We're going to have some steps here. we're going to have a doorway that's going to be here and a doorway here and two windows. So let's put in the doorways. So to put in the doorways, we are going to use the edit profile tool, and we are simply going to draw a door. Now we can adjust the size of this door after. So we're just going to put the door in first. We're going to trim here, and then we're going to align this. So now this is the profile of this here. We're also going to add another window here, and we're going to align the top of this to that, so the windows are aligned. Now we're going to adjust the size of the windows after, so I'm not really worried about it. I'm just going to make them 600. I'm going to make the door 900, and let's shift this over, which is okay. So you can see we have now the framing of the door. So now, as I said, this is using the curtain wall system. So some of this, like for example, the way how this is done is not exactly how they would do it in construction. Now we can go in and actually start to modify these, but for our purposes, we don't need to do that for our objective here. We just need an accurate representation of the concept of the construction. We don't have to go into the exact amount of members, where to place the members, but the concept is that you would have to frame out your doors and your windows. We could go as far as to put in some members in reasonable locations, for example, a member down here, but we're going to concentrate on getting this done first. All right, so we're going to put in another window here. So we're going to go to edit profile. We're just going to draw it in again, and then we're going to draw in a door. Then we are going to edit this. So remember the concept, you draw it, then you revise it. So I just drew it in, and now I'm going to align these. So I'm going to go to align, and I'm going to try to see if I can. Don't think I can align to the grid here. Anyway, I'll just align the top and offset it about 2 inches. Then I'll align this here. Then this was, we made this the distance of the window. So I'm going to move this dimension here and make this 600. And the door we made 900. All right, this door is actually lower than up here. So this door is going to actually be shorter. This window might be taller though, so we're going to leave that for now. All right, so those are our windows. All right, now we did say we wanted to have another window here. What we can probably do with this door is we're going to have a transom at the top. So we can actually go in and edit this door. Now some of these decisions are being made on the fly because, as you recall, this is from a schematic design. So we really only worked out one elevation, and then we're just gonna see how we deal with the other elevations as well. Probably we're just gonna mirror it. So we're just gonna put the window over here just to mirror these windows here. Okay, so we're gonna go with a wraparound window here. So let's do a profile, and we're gonna maybe start it from about here, right? And so this is one, that's the window there. Then we're gonna deal with the other half of the window, which is going to be here. Now we're probably going to need some reference lines in order to align these properly. Okay, let's see what we can do. So we're going to draw this window in like about there. It's okay. All right, so there we have that. But as I said, we need to align these members together. Edit the profile. I don't think we're able to align to the grid there. So what we're going to try to see, now, if we want to align these together and also maybe align these together, the best way to do that would be from like a section or elevation view. So let's go to our plan, and what we're going to do is let's do a section. So we're going to go to view and section, and we could actually draw a section. Let's do one like that. Now, once we draw the section there, under our views, we're going to look under building section, and we should see a new section there. All right, so see, we have these two that needs to be aligned. So now we can click on this and go to edit, and then we can align that. Also align. Oh, the bottom is already aligned. That's good. All right, good. So we choose okay. Let's look at that here. All right, so we have our wraparound window all done. I'm going to carry this in some more because this looks a little funny. Yeah, okay, that's fine. All right. Now, in reality, what happens here is that there still needs to be structural support, but usually that column is behind this area here. So we will add in that like a stud here, but not at this corner. We could add that in on the inside so that from the outside it appears as if the window wrapped around. All right, so let's finish with the windows. Okay, we could add 2 windows here. So let's do that. Edit profile. And remember, we're just adding the windows for now, and then we will modify them later. We're making all of them 600 millimeters wide. And then for the back, we're going to do the same thing again. We're just going to add one, maybe just 1 window here. And we'll make that twice as wide. So we will make this one 1200. All right. And we can make the height. Let's adjust the height from the floor to be 600. And let's adjust the height of the window. Yes, the height of the window to be 1800. Actually, we want to adjust the bottom to be 18. So we keep the top at 2 feet. All right. All right, let's go back and edit these windows here. Now notice you can click on the individual elements or you can click on the wall. So make sure that you're clicking on the wall, and we want this to be 600, and we want the height of the window to be 1800. Okay, we need to adjust the temporary dimensions from this. Okay, so here we go. Okay, there we go with the walls. Now we are going to need we're going to actually put a rail in here that goes down. So we'll do that at a later time. We need to put the column here that goes all the way up for the structural support. So we can use this stilt column that we used before. So we're going to go to column, and we're going to go to architectural column, and there we go. Oh, we need to set the base, like where the column is going. Okay, let's put it in first. Okay, there it is. So we need this to be at the level 1 lower, and level 1 lower, and the top goes to the level 2. All right, now we're gonna move it into place, and we can use the plan view and put it right there. So this is going to be our structural support there. Okay, so now we need to add the coverings for the wall and the windows and the doors. So to do that, we can use the 3D view, or we can use the plan view, whichever. So if I'm in the plan view here, and just so we understand, I'm going to delete this section view because I only needed it temporarily to help with the windows. So it's going to delete the drawing as well. Now in this plan view, notice that the floor is not showing the wood material, but that's okay. We can still identify where it is, or we could go to shaded view. That would show us where it is there. So I'm going to keep it on hidden line. All right, so what we need to do is to put on those wall coverings. Oh, we do need to adjust this wall. This should actually be on the grid. To move this in, adjust this. You want to make sure that all your walls are centered on your grid. Okay, there we go. Hello? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. The what? All right, cool. I'm looking for it. Meaning I need to come up there? Yeah. So now let's remove these dimensions there. Okay, so now this down to here. Yeah. Now we need to add those exterior walls. So we're gonna go to the wall tool here. And this time we're going to choose maybe like a generic 100 millimeter wall. And then we're going to go to edit type, and we're going to duplicate it and call this wall cladding, 50, no, 25 millimeters. And then we're going to go into the structure and change this to 25 millimeters. And let's change the material to wood. Oh, it's wood already. And choose OK. All right. Then now we're going to change the location line from center to maybe finish interior face. And then we're going to start to draw from these here. Let's turn off the line thickness. All right. So we can actually draw. So this is what the wall looks like. And this is the cross hatch for that wall. We can actually edit this cross hatch, but let's leave that for now. Then right now this wall is on the level 1 lower. So let's move it to the level 1. Then let's set the top constraint to level 2. That's good. So we're going to make this wall the full length here. So if we look on that in 3D, there is that wall that we did. Now, of course, we need to edit this part here. So to do that, we're going to use the same profile. And we are just going to draw a profile like that. All right. So that's the profile of our wall. Let's choose OK. So now we have that profile all done. Okay, so now what we're going to do is let's see if we can duplicate this mirror. Or let's see if we can mirror this, and then we'll align. There we go. And we need to make some adjustments. Let's make this a little bigger. Let's go to the top view and let's put this back in the corner. Make sure that this is on the level 1 lower level. Then we're going to put the other walls in and put these on the level 1 upper level. All right. So now we've completely placed all of the walls. Okay. So now would be a good idea to place the windows before we place the outer walls. So let's get the windows in. For this, we will be using windows without, we'll be using some fixed windows. So to do this, we're going to have to go to load family and we will look under windows here. We're going to go with, okay, we have a few to choose from here. Okay, let us try and work with these windows and let's see if we can modify them. So let's go to edit type. Actually, before we do this, we are going to do it on the exterior. So I'm going to use the mirror tool and mirror this. Then I'm going to delete this tool here. Then let's put back these windows and let's remove the mounting. All right. We could, for the exterior, we could go without the sill. There we go. So it's just plain. Then let's choose the same dimension as the window. So the width is 600, the height is 1800. All right. And we can actually move this around so that we can align this. There we go. So we have the sill height here. Let's see. That's okay. Okay, let's copy this. Now let's adjust this wall here. Align edge of this. Okay, hold on. Let's see if we can select it. There we go. And let's adjust this. Oh, that moves back the whole thing. Okay. All right. Let's put in the door. Let's go and load a door. Let's go to doors and we're going to look for something that's appropriate. Let's go with residential. Yes, let's go with this one. And we'll just pick one, because we'll modify the style afterwards. Yes, that was definitely a bit thin, but that's okay. We are gonna say duplicate and we're gonna call this main door. Let's just call it main door for now. And we'll make the width be, I think it was 900. Oh, actually, okay, let's go for a bigger door. 36 by 80. Yeah, this one. There we go. And if we look at our wall, look back at our profile, let's see, that was 900. Yes, it was. Okay, so we're going to make this 900. Oh, wait, actually, okay, We can use the arrow keys to actually nudge this over. There we go. All right, so let us do the rest of this. I'm gonna mirror this. We're going to do the same thing for this and same for this. Let's pick a window and we're gonna call this one, we're gonna duplicate it and call this front window. We're gonna let the width be, no, I think this width was, let's look at the profile, it was 1200 actually. I think this one we can put back the mounting. There we go. And if I believe, let's see if this will work. Let me open this up, and if we go to the move tool, we can grab this in the center. Actually, what we can do with these windows to make sure that they're centered is that we can go to the plan view, and this is that space that we have here. So we can actually just move it. Let's grab it at the center of the window and move it to the, see if we can get to the center of this space here. So let me use my, if I use my dimension tool and I say from here to one edge of this window, no, actually, let's use the model line. And if we, okay, let's use the detail line because we don't want to have to worry about the height. So if we use the detail line to outline this, and the shortcut for detail line is DL, there we go. And we can actually move this using the center. There we go. So we use this as a kind of a construction line. And the thing about the detail line, we don't have to worry about it being in 3D space, right? So now we know that this is centered, and we can do the same thing with these other windows here because we need to center them in this space. And I don't think we're going to find the center of this space so easily. Let's see. Yeah, that's the center. Do the same thing here. Okay, let's go back to 3D view. Okay, so let's get in these other windows. So these windows here, we actually didn't rename this, so we need to rename it and call these main windows so that we can identify them easily. All right, so we need to add more main. Okay, let's do the same thing with this. Mirror this. I think I need to edit my working plane for this one. So let me set the working plane to L1 lower. Now, when I mirror this, it should, yep, there we go. All right, let's close up these walls. Okay, so we need to add in, so a window here and a window here. We could just, oh, there are actually 3 windows. Let's go from plan view. Okay, so here are the windows. So it needs to go in here. So let's grab this. Don't think this is the center because they got 2 points here, so not sure if this one is the center. It's centered. Oh, this is actually the wraparound window that's supposed to go there. Okay, this elevation, let's put that 9. Yeah, we're just setting the elevations. Okay, and we're gonna fix these walls in just a bit. Now we need to deal with this wraparound window here. All right, so now if we want to put these corner windows in, we're actually going to use the curtain wall to put those windows in. So not only can we use the curtain wall to get our framing represented, but we can use curtain wall for windows, right? Because a curtain wall would actually cut a hole in the window. So we want to put a curtain wall in these outer walls, right? So to do that, let's use our plan view. So this is our outer wall here. So we're going to go to wall and we're going to use curtain wall, the storefront, and we're going to start from here and we're going to draw the first wall all the way to the end there. So that is the first curtain wall. Then the other curtain wall started from, or the other parts of the window started from here. I'm going to draw this all the way down to there. So if we go to 3D, this is what it looks like currently. It looks kind of crazy, but this is the bottom of that window that we inserted as a curtain wall. So let's align this, see if we can get to it. There we go. And let's do the same thing for here. Let's align the bottom of this one with here. Then we need to align the top. I think it's this point here and here. There we go. So now you can see that we're actually seeing inside of the wall. So this is the other side, like this wall here. Well, just for ease of understanding, let's kind of open this wall up, and we'll do the same thing here. Kind of open this up. Right. So you can see that we have the wall here. Now, in order for this to be a corner window, we would need to take this all the way to the end. So let's align, and let's align this with that. Now we have to go, well, also let's align the depth of the curtain wall. So let's go to a plan view, I think. Yeah. And we want to click on the curtain wall itself, and we want to drag that to the grid, and the same thing for this side. There we go. It looks a bit confusing from the plan view, but if we go back here, you'll see that's what we have. Now, we actually need to carry this all the way to this edge here and carry this one. If we can find the end, there we go. Okay, no, wait. There we go. All right. Now what we need to do is we need to use tab and tab into the frame, and we need to unpin it, then delete it. Same thing for the other frame. Unpin and delete. All right. So now we just need to adjust this appropriately. So we need to adjust the grid actually. Oops. Let's see if we can get that. Okay, let's see if, okay, I see the problem. Okay, let's see if we can do it from the plan view. Yeah, let's carry this in. There we go. It's this one. Okay, yeah, that's about right. Now, what we're going to do to get rid of this here is we're going to go into we're going to edit the wall profile of this wall and this should work. Yeah, we have some weird lines here. There we go. So you can see the wall profile is like this. Okay, now we need to do the same thing for this wall here. Okay, so we're going to align this. All right. All right. Now we do need to figure out the internal walls, but we're going to do that in just a bit. We just have one more door, and this door here should have the transom above it. So we're going to copy this door, put it there. Oops. And align this. Okay, let's look at the top view. Now we did say we wanted to have, hold on a minute. I think this needs to be flipped. Okay, let's save. Right, so we do want this to have a transom above. So we're going to insert like a louvered window. So we are going to Windows. We're going to have to import this window. So let's look under Windows. Let's see if we can find, there we go. All right, that's it. Now we know the width of this window is 900. All right, now we can deal with the internal walls. Oh, we need to, okay, we can use this one. Oops. All right, so it also duplicated the windows as well, so we don't need that. So now what we want to do is attach, okay, wait, let's fix this. Now what we're going to do is attach these together. So we're going to use the join tool. We're going to join this wall with this wall, and that will automatically give us all the cuts. So let's use the join tool and join this wall with that wall, and this wall with, and this with that. All right, and with that, that is our walls that we have. Now the great thing about this is, like, when you cut a section through it, so if we go to the, or let's use the 3D view, and let's use a section box, and if we cut this in half, you know, we see all of these details, all of the structure that's inside of the walls, which is pretty cool. And we're actually going to use this later on when we do exploded views. We're able to show all of these details. So that is how we can create timber walls using the curtain wall tool. So now if we should go to hidden mode, and let's unhide the site. All right, so this is where we are so far. So we have our building and we have our site, and this is what our perspective view is looking like so far. Okay, great.